cheese and crackers. I almost dropped the mirror. Use a foundation, which is just a plain clear gloss. That's English. Started into okay. Hello my beautiful babes, what is up? It's Brandi. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I created this beautiful look using only the Mini Breaker palette by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I'm obsessed with this look. I hope you guys are too. If you guys are interested in how I created this, then please keep on watching. Now, real quickly before we get started into the tutorial, I want to give you guys an update on the Rare Beauty foundation. It is what I'm currently wearing today. I recently reviewed this in my most current first impressions video. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll have that link down below in the description box, but we have a lot to talk about. First is the foundation shade. It is working perfectly for me today. If you guys are wondering, it is in the shade 250W. When I first reviewed it, it was not my shade. It wasn't. I could slightly pull it off, but I had to take it down my neck, and even then it was a little bit noticeable, at least for me personally, because I did have a little bit more of a tan. It wasn't that crazy of a tan, but it was more than how I currently am. Also, it did not break me out. This does have oil, and I already have oily prone skin. With that combination, I tend to break out. I didn't. I woke up the next morning, I was like, oh, I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to know. But I didn't even have a single blemish, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually wear this. And I used a sponge this time. I think that this really blended it out so much better than the brush. Not that the brush didn't blend it out well, but I feel like this was so much easier, but most importantly, using the color correctors. Now, when I first reviewed it, I did not use it, and it wasn't horrible. It's a light to medium foundation. So I expected my acne to show a little bit and my dark circles, but I was kind of nervous when using the color correctors. I was like, oh my gosh, is it going to peek through? Because it is only light to medium. So I used the Dragon Beauty orange and the green color corrector. I started with the orange, and then to even it out and blend it so it's not going to show up if I only use the orange, I used the green on top of that. Normally I would have used the lavender, but I ran out of that, so just improvising. And this is what it looks like with the color corrector. I do have acne scars all over here on my chin, my forehead, and obviously we got some dark circles under our eyes. But with the color corrector underneath this foundation, it looks a lot more flawless. But that is the update on the Rare Beauty foundation. I liked it in the beginning. Now I love it. Like, I'm obsessed with this. I can't get over it. Alright, now we can move on to the tutorial. Obviously for this tutorial, I am going to be using the Mini Breaker palette by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. If you couldn't tell by the title, I did a first impressions on this. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll have it somewhere. I don't know which side it is, but it'll be up here for you guys to check out if you want to. This is the palette if you guys are not familiar with it. It is beautiful, screams summer. So I have an idea of where I want this look to go. I'm just praying that I don't psych myself out like I did the last 2 times that I did a makeup tutorial. I don't know. I've just been questioning myself a little bit, and I don't know why. I'm trying to get out of that habit, get out of that little funk, but I guess that's normal every once in a while. It's very frustrating, but hopefully we will not have that today. Anyway, as always, I'm going to be using my beautiful bling brushes to apply my makeup. We have the Bring It On in the Rose Gold Starry Nights, as well as the Paige Corinne collab. I'm going to start off with the shade Orange Crush. Woo, we're just gonna go for it, guys. Just gonna do it. This shade is one that I haven't used yet, and I'm very nervous but excited to play with it. And I just applied that on my E21 brush. Oh my goodness, my nose is itchy. Alright, anyway, I'm going to start off by putting this in the inner third of my eye. I'm really torn between these two purple shades, which are Foreplay and Purple Punch. Purple Punch is obviously darker. Foreplay is more of a purpley pink. I think I'm going to go in with the shade Purple Punch, which is the one right in the middle. I'm going to be applying that on an E13. And I'm going to focus this on... Ooh, that was my phone. That scared the crap out of me. Sorry. But I'm just going to focus this right in the middle of the eye, just like that. Now I'm going to go back in with that same brush that we used for Orange Crush. And I'm now just going to place that right in the outer corners of my eye. Something a little bit different. I don't know how it's gonna look, but like I said, we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope for the best. With this, I want to slightly drag it out just a bit. I do know that this is very rough. I'm not going to leave it like that. I just want to have the shades placed first. One thing that I did fail to mention the first time I used the shade Orange Crush is that it does have a little bit of, I guess you could say, a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to hold it up for you guys. There we go. It is there. However, when I place it on my lids, it's just a regular matte shade. Now that the shades are placed where I want them to be, I'm going to go back in with each of those shades. And I'm going to start off with the shade Orange Crush and place that right on the inner third of the lid. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Purple Punch and place that on the center of the lid. And you guessed it, going back in with the shade Orange Crush. And going on the outer corner of the lid. Okay, so for some reason my camera decided not to record. It was very subtle, it wasn't that crazy luckily. I just went in with this bottom shade right over here called Bubblegum and applied that on an E22 brush, and I used that to blend out the edges of Purple Punch right up here. Very, very subtle, but it helps fade that purple into the brow bone. For the orange, I'm going to go very lightly into this shade Double Scoop, again using another E22. Hopefully this works out. If not, I am gonna have to dip into another palette, but hopefully this works. I don't know. But I'm gonna use this to blend out the edges of Orange Crush. Ooh, that's working nicely. I don't know if you guys can tell on the camera right now, but this is pretty. Gonna do the same thing to the outside orange. So now I'm just going to take a clean E24 brush. I don't know why my voice just cracked, but it did. Anyway, I'm just going to go above the edges to make sure it's all blending together. And also just to lighten it up just a hair. I don't know if you guys can see the difference already just between using a clean brush and just leaving it as is, but there is a difference. Now I'm just going to take my Magic Star concealer in the shade C13 as well as an E16 brush, and I'm going to start off by doing a halo eye. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to take the concealer and I'm going to do a classic cut crease. Half cut crease, to be specific. Next, I'm going to take the shade Oral. I'm going to apply that on an E7 brush and place this right where I place the concealer. Now, I'm going to first focus this in the center. Now I'm going to go in with an E14 brush and I'm going to dip into this bright, beautiful shade over here, which is called Slice. And I'm going to focus this in the inner, like the little teeny inner corner of my eye. Ooh, this is looking so good, better than I had expected. These shades Slice and Oral on the lid are absolutely gorgeous. Now I am going to take the E13 brush that we had the shade Purple Punch in, and I'm lightly going to place this on the outer half of the lid just to deepen it up a little bit. Now I'm not picking up any extra product. Whatever is left on the brush, that's what I'm going to use because I want this to be very subtle. This is what the outer corners are looking like. It's kind of like a light mixture between the shade Orange Crush and Purple Punch. Nothing too crazy, but just a little bit to give it some extra definition in the eyes. I might go back and add a little bit more depending how I feel afterwards. But where is the brush? Okay, here it is. I'm going to take an E7 and I'm going to dip into the shade Purple Punch. Yeah. And I'm going to place this all over the lower lash line. Then I'm going to go back into the shade Bubblegum on that E22. And I'm going to use this to blend out the lower lash line. I'm going to go back into the shade Slice that we used for the inner corner of the lid. I'm going to apply that on an E26 and I'm going to use this to highlight the inner corners of my eyes. I'm going to go back into the shade Purple Punch and apply that shade on an E22, only doing like 2 taps into the shade. I want this outer lid to be a little bit darker, just a tad. And also dip once into the shade and lightly place that on the outer corner of the lid as well. The last thing I have to do is highlight the brow bone and choose a highlight. I think I'm going to go into the Bloodlust palette for that. And I think I'm going to go in with the shade Wet Jewel. I'm going to use that to highlight the brow bone. Oh, look at that. That was the perfect shade to highlight with. Alright, now for my face. You know what? I'm going to use the shade Wet Jewel. Now I'm going to use my finger, which I hate doing. But it's the only way to control this type of shade. Look at that highlight though. That is gorgeous. I did blend it out with my highlighting brush. This is the F25. And now that I did that, it's blinding, but it's a little bit more subtle and it's gorgeous. So I'm just going to quickly hop off camera, apply some mascara, false lashes, and do the lips, and then I'll be right back. Alright you guys, so this is the final look. Now normally when I have bright or dark eyeshadow, I typically go with a nude, but today I felt like switching it up and adding a pop of color. This feels so crazy, but honestly I love it so much. For my lips, I am wearing the Velour liquid lipstick in the shade Androgyny. That is my baby boy Jasper. If you guys haven't checked out Meeting My New Kitten, you guys definitely should do that. And then I obviously overlined my top lip just a little bit with the same shade Androgyny. Now, oh, and I almost forgot, I also topped off my lips using the gloss by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I am so sorry for the noise in the background. Just ignore that. Anyway, I feel like this whole look works so much better in person than how it's coming off on camera right now. I feel like it kind of does and kind of doesn't match my shirt. Like, if you can see the purple, then you're like, yes, it matches. But if I'm looking straight ahead, it's like it doesn't match, right? So I have a towel here just so you guys can see. Like, look at how beautiful this makeup is. And like, look how different like a shirt makes. It makes everything cohesive, or it can make it look completely different. For my lashes, I decided to try something a little bit different. They are in the style Claudia No. 6 by Huda Beauty. I think that these lashes are really beautiful. However, I did struggle to put them on a little bit. I don't know if you guys can tell, but right over here, my eyes look a little bit wonky. I had to reapply them twice. Yeah, and then I had to go in with a liquid liner on the top because the band, for some reason, was not molding to my eyelid. Like, it was glued on, but it looked straight still, and that is so weird. I've never had that problem with any lashes thus far, and especially with Huda Beauty, so I don't know, maybe it's just because it's the style of the lash. This was the best that I could do. But yeah, you guys, that's basically it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, as well as hitting the notification bell. As always, every product used today will be linked down below in the description box. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.